Someone once said to me, "Dylan, it's not you against the world." And I remember thinking, why would he say that? Then I remembered that I was spending a lot of time talking negatively about what other people were doing. I was working against myself instead of focusing on what I wanted to be doing. And when I did that, I was swimming upstream while everyone else was swimming downstream. And when you're swimming upstream, it feels terrible. And when I realized that, I got the courage to turn around. And now I'm swimming downstream just as fast as they are. And the more I paddle, the faster I go. And the more I pass by the things that I thought were holding me back. But I'm swimming downriver, and I don't know what's downriver. And so the number one thing that makes me want to turn around and start swimming back upriver again is I know what's upriver. It's safe. And I'm scared of what I don't know. And when you're swimming upriver, it takes so much work. It's exhausting and it hurts and you don't feel good, but at least you know it's safe up there. But safe is not progress. Easy is not progress. There is no progress without taking a risk, without swimming towards what you don't know. You can't move forward going backwards. Duh. So when I finally learned this, it changed my life. And I stopped saying, oh, well, these people are on, everybody's holding me back. And blah, blah, blah. And I said, you know what? I have to make my own way. I don't have to be like them. I can be original. I can do my thing, but I also don't need to swim upriver. I can swim downriver too and enjoy this and enjoy my existence and enjoy my uniqueness among the other swimmers. I don't have to be alone. So now I turn downstream and I go into the unknown. And I do that knowing there's no progress without risk. And most importantly, I know that if I don't take that risk, I'm failing myself. So now the choice is easy. I'm swimming downstream.
Smash House.
Do you remember what it was like to be a little kid? To sit and think everything was magical. Butterflies, dirt. When we were kids, we used to pick up a rock and it was our play toy. It was a magical thing, you know? It was a magical thing. It was a thing that you created wonder from. I remember I used to sit under a bush after school when I was just in grade school. And instead of walk home, I would sit under this bush. It was like a long hedge and the light would shine through and it made these crazy cool patterns. And if I took a stick and I waved it back and forth fast enough, it would create shapes and these shapes would tell stories. And in my mind, those stories would turn into songs and I would hum the song about the story as I shook this stick and saw these moving images, just like I was watching a movie. And I remember thinking very clearly how cool that feeling was to be able to create something with your own hands and have it evolve into a magical story. And this was one of the driving forces that sent me into the entertainment industry. I wanted to make movies. I wanted to be a rock star. I wanted to create something with my own mind and my own creativity. I didn't want it created for me. You know, I didn't want to be, I'm not a consumer. I'm a creator. I wanted to make it, experience the process of making it, and evolve it into something that I could hand to other people that would affect them because they could feel what I felt when I experienced it. And when I think about life and, you know, life, it's such a general thing. Well, life, when I think about the entire pursuit of our experience, it's really those moments that we remember when we created something. Maybe it was we had a baby, or we created an amazing experience together that we'll never forget. And when you choose to live in those experiences, I think you live the fullest. And it's something I've struggled with my whole life. I've had trouble being present in the moment. And in fact, one of the only places I feel that is when I'm playing music, I'm speaking to the public, or I'm on camera, or I'm surfing, or fly fishing. Those are the things that take me here now. Now, why is that? In every instance, I'm engaged because I'm creating something. When you fly fish, there's this kinetic energy to it. The river's going down at a certain speed. The wind is blowing at a certain direction. The bugs that are flying need to be the right bug. It needs to be presented properly. You need to do just the right cast and let just the right amount of line out, just the right height above the water so that it lands without a splash. And then it needs to go exactly over the location where you know the fish is. It's poetry. And when you get it right, there's a payoff. The water splashes. You have to see what size is the fish. You know, if you're a true fisherman, you always want it to be really big, right? And usually when you tell people about it, it was really, really big. But anyway, the same thing is true with music. When you create music and you see people enjoy in it, there's a payoff there. When you enjoy it, it's a payoff. When it's mixed properly, when it sounds just right, when you sung it well, when you played it well, it feels right. This kinetic energy has been the key thing in my entire life that's allowed me to not go absolutely manically mad, because my brain is a very interesting thing. It goes so fast, I can't keep up with it. I actually stutter. I realized that I stutter because I've already moved on. See, I just did it. I've already moved on to 3 things beyond what I was about to just say. And the thing that helps center me, which I think can help center you, is engaging your mind in these things that are kinetic, that are physical. Right? This is why exercise is so important. This is why community and relationships and discussion and going to coffee with your friends, and why gossip is so rewarding, is it engages you fully in the nuance of discussion and triggering brains, vibes, and feelings. But so many times in our lives, we allow ourselves to become neutral, to sort of go through the motions. And I'm going to get up, and I'm going to make coffee, and then I'm going to walk the dog, and then but you're not changing it. You're not changing your programs. You're not challenging yourself. And one of the stories that I love is the story about this bio-den they made. They made a bio-den that was perfect. Everything was perfect. The humidity was perfect. The amount of light was perfect. Everything was perfect for these plants to grow. And inside this dome, they started to grow and thrive, and then almost immediately started to perish and die. And all of the scientists were perplexed. They were like, why are these plants not thriving? They've got everything. They've got everything. But what they didn't have was wind. There was no friction pushing these plants to make them stronger. They didn't leverage their strength against the wind. And so they perished. They fell over. They had no backbone. They weren't strong. It was too easy. And easy doesn't make you stronger. And I find that in my life, the things that made me the strongest were the things that challenged me the most. The things that scared the hell out of me. The things that broke my heart. The things that broke my body. I've had multiple operations, some of them horrifyingly painful. One on my neck that it was the most painful thing I've ever felt in my life. Another, I had a knee contusion from trying to skateboard on a half pipe well past my prime, my skateboarding prime. But that hurt more than anything, you know. But it's those things that show you how much farther you can take yourself. They show you how much stronger you can be when you know you can get through those things. If you never have an opportunity to get through those things, you're not very conditioned, are you? You're a plant in a bio-den that might have everything. You might have all the money in the world, all the comfort, you might want for nothing. but you might have nothing too. Because you should always want for something, and you should always be tested. My father has a saying that I live by. You can always tell how fortunate people are by what they choose to complain about. Now, I'm sure he didn't coin that, but he did for me. And when I walk through this world and I hear people complaining about things that are so trivial, it makes me wonder how much wind they felt in their face. And this is why in my life I've gravitated to the artists, the creators, the builders, the entrepreneurs, the people that were trying to do something way, way bigger and more difficult than they could ever imagine. The people walking into hurricane force winds, not sitting in the luxury cabana with a Mai Tai, though I enjoy that greatly too. And if anybody here wants to invite me over for a Mai Tai at the cabana, I will show up. But what makes you an interesting person is how you deal with adversity. And anybody in here listening that's dealing with adversity knows that as painful as it is, somehow, it makes you stronger. So I'll ask you the same question I always ask you. What are you going to do with this opportunity you have?
Smash House.
There's this word people say all the time. And the word is sometimes. You'll ask them, do you take care of yourself? Do you exercise? Do you put in those extra hours of work? And the answer you get is sometimes. Are you happy? Sometimes. Do you drink too much? Do you gamble? Do you lie? Well, sometimes. But what happens if your sometimes turns into all the time? Or most of the time? Most of the time, I'm not happy. I'm checked out. Most of the time, I spend my time doing something I don't care about. And I do it for other people. I do it for other things. I do it because I have to, right? We all do that. We're all guilty of that. Oh, I've got so many more important things to do. I can't spend the time to take care of myself. I can't spend the time to go after my dreams. I can't spend the time to be a better me with all you guru guys talking about mindset. No, I get it. Trust me, I get it. Well, what if you change how you thought about that? What if your sometimes I take care of myself turned into most of the time I take care of myself? Most of the time I eat right. Most of the time I work hard. Most of the time I love what I'm doing. So where do you think that leads? You already know, right? Success. So the only difference between sometimes and most of the time is you. And whether you have the confidence enough to take control of your time. Your time. You can decide how to spend your time. Now, I know some people say, well, that's a luxury. I've got to make a living. Well, so do I. Guess how I made a living? Most of the time, I pursued what I wanted to do. Most of the time, I made music until I was good at it. Most of the time, I worked 18 hours longer than everyone else I knew. Most of the time, every single thing I did helped me get better at what I wanted to be doing most of the time. Now, I didn't do that making music, but I was making music. I bust tables. I was a drummer. I wanted to be the best drummer in the world. I bust tables with my left hand. I never used my right because if I was going to bust tables, I was going to make myself ambidextrous so I could play better. And when I walked around corners, I paced it perfectly, and I did it in time. Round the corner, dishes, down, grab the cup, wash it, right? Sounds corny. I was getting good at music while I was busting dishes. I made good use of my time towards my goal. Everything that you're doing, if you're not investing in yourself, you're wasting your time. I don't care what job you have. You could be a mechanic. If you want to be an opera singer, you better be singing while you're cranking the wrench. Blow out, you know what I'm saying? Okay? With every minute you spend in this life, if you're not trying to move towards a goal, what are you doing? It doesn't matter what responsibilities you have, what job you have, what is holding you back in your mind. You can work towards what you want to do within the context of the life you are living right now. You want to be a poet and you're a tax accountant? Make poetry of those numbers. You want to be Rembrandt, but you're painting fences? Work on how you hold your brush. There's no limit to how you can better yourself within the context of what you're already doing. You just have to change how you think about it and remind yourself that you can put you and everything that you are and want to be into anything you're doing. And that is what makes you unique and interesting and a valuable contributor to the world we live in. So what are you going to do? You're going to do it sometimes, or are you going to do it all the time? So it's time to get to work. The work is not for them. The work is for you.
Smash House.
So here I am, a speck on this little blue dot we call planet Earth. And I'm thinking about this when I woke up this morning. I'm having my coffee and I'm going, okay, I'm spinning around on this big chunk of rock in the middle of a solar system, surrounded by thousands of solar systems. And I'm worried about my problems. I'm worried about everything that's so important in my life that has to get done. It's ridiculous, because look at the opportunity I have. I'm alive. I can decide what I do, where I go, how much money I can make, how hard I work, who I surround myself with. I can choose who I want to be. And contrary to popular belief, I don't live on Mars. So I have an opportunity to thrive. Look, nobody said it was easy. There is no magic wand that just makes everything okay, that makes you more money, that makes you fall in love, to make life better, to make people not bully you, to make people not come after you and make you feel less than. But that's okay, because they don't control you. You are in control of you completely. It's like my father says, you give life half a chance and it will survive. You all have way more than half a chance. So what are you going to do with it? Yes, you can't ignore the problems of the world, but guess what? We all have an opportunity that we can choose to take or not. There were many before us that had a quarter of what we have, that made something amazing of their lives. There are people flying that couldn't walk, people singing that couldn't breathe. And guess what? You're not what they told you you were. Only you can be put in a box if you let yourself get put in the box. Whatever they say about you is a reflection on them, not you. I'll say it again. What they say about you is a reflection on them, not you. You're not an imposter. You belong here. And so when I look up the sky and I tell myself, and I say, Dylan, you're just one in a billion. Insignificant. And I talk myself out of the contribution that I might make, even here tonight, that I really even shouldn't be measuring. I go, no, maybe I'm actually one in a billion. That unique thing that's independent to me. And I realize I have an opportunity to stand here right now and talk to you and to breathe this air, to make my weaknesses my strengths, to fly when I couldn't walk, and to sing when I can barely breathe. I have that opportunity. And you have that opportunity too. You just have to decide what you're going to do with it.